This is the fictional mindbender. All Gundams are considered dangerous in their own right, usually by the unfortunate people who happen to be facing them. However, there's only 3, in my personal opinion, that qualify as the most dangerous Gundams of the franchises. Now, what are my criteria for this? Not what you think. For certain, one of these Gundams is a powerful machine, but power isn't always what makes a Gundam dangerous. There's also the psychological element of what the effect the Gundam has on not just those around it, enemies and allies, but also the pilot itself. Now, there have been so many iterations of the Gundam franchise that honestly it's not worth going through each and every one just to fill out this list. So I'm just going to give you my picks and why I chose them. And if you disagree or have ones you want to add to that list, go ahead and do so in the comments. Just again, be polite. Now, my 3 picks are Wing Zero Gundam, Epion Gundam, and Gundam Barbatos Lupus Rex. The first 2 being from the Gundam Wing franchise, and the last from the Iron-Blooded Orphans franchise. Starting with the Lupus Rex, the reason why I have it on my list is not because of power. Because honestly, if you're going to make a Gundam list on what's the most powerful, then Lupus Rex is not going to be on that list, to be honest. And if it is, it's going to be pretty damn low. In the Iron-Blooded Orphans universe, Gundam frames were developed in its past to combat rampaging mobile armors that were killing off whole human populations like mice in a farmhouse. And what made Lupus Rex unique among Gundams was that its system had become so heightened that it was essentially more than a human body could handle. What's more, Lupus Rex was a close-range combat Gundam, and most of its weapons reflect that, using maces and swords, and though it uses guns, close combat weapons were always preferred. And these factors, paired with its pilot, Mikazuki, who was already a sociopath among other child soldiers, made the Gundam hyper-aggressive, no more shown than in 2 particular battles, against the awakened mobile armor on Mars, and its final battle against Galahorn. In both cases, the Gundam itself had such an urge to kill that it was barely controllable, and in its last stand, both it and its pilot were completely let off the leash. In terms of psychological effect, this made Barbatos Lupus Rex arguably the most terrifying Gundam of any of their franchises because its ungodly speed and psychotic nature and weapons had pilots shitting themselves as soon as they saw it coming. I mean, the Gundam was basically going into cockpits, ripping them out and then crushing them with their pilots inside. Even after an orbital bombardment and in a crippled state, the Gundam could not be stopped and was only finally defeated when Mikazuki finally died from blood loss, just as he was about to gut the last Galahorn machine. Moreover, this Gundam was so lethal that even its pilot was affected, with Mikazuki becoming crippled on one side of his body after he gives in to the machine's violent impulses for the first time. Now, I know that Dual Maxwell of the Gundam Wing series likes to brag about how he's from hell and his Death Life Gundam is also from hell, but as far as I'm concerned, Mikazuki and Barbatos Lupus Rex more than take the cake in terms of this title. And speaking of Gundam Wing, let us now delve into why my next 2 picks are here. Both are for the same reasons, but with different effects. Wing Zero and Epion both use an AI system called the Zero System, where it calculates all factors and parameters of a battle and then initiates a plan to achieve victory. However, in doing so, the Zero System will drive its pilots mad from the system overload and the impulse to follow the plan. I've even read somewhere that there was a version of the system that not only borderline coerces the pilot to follow the plan that it makes, but literally possesses him in order to do it. Only the strongest willed pilots can master it, and even then, they too usually go mad once or twice in the attempt. The Zero System, when applied to the Epion Gundam, makes this machine, another close-range variant, unstoppable, and can even potentially turn on its allies if the system deems it so in order to achieve victory. Epion itself is incredibly fast, even for a Gundam. That means that if the system finds a target worth killing, it will be on top of them before the enemy even realizes what just happened. And again, collateral damage is not in its vocabulary. And as well, Epion looks like a fucking demon. I mean, it's capable of transforming into a two-headed dragon when it's in flight mode, giving both Death Scythe and Death Scythe Hell run for their money in terms of most terrifying Gundams in that universe. But lastly, there's Wing Zero. While it too is also an inheritor of the Zero system, what makes this Gundam dangerous differs from its sister Gundam. While Epion is more of a tactical Gundam, thereby affecting those within its immediate vicinity, the power output and weapons of Wing Zero make it a terror on a whole other level. The machine's dual buster rifle has the ability to single-handedly wipe out a colony with a single shot. If it splits into its separate rifle mode, it can destroy 2 colonies at a time. With this much power available to a weak-willed possessed pilot, the risk of collateral damage increases exponentially. The amount of damage is different, but the effects, though, are still the same. That, to all involved, both Gundams are a danger to all around them, potentially, because of how they both use the Zero system and how it employs their individual abilities. But, having said all that, of these 3, I find Wing Zero to be the single most dangerous Gundam because of the pairing of psychosis and power, with Epion following as a second, and Barbatos Lupus Rex coming in third, but close to second as well. Having said all that, like I said earlier, if you disagree or have others you want to add to this list, comment below. But otherwise, this is the Fictional Mindbender. You guys have a good day.